Society Matters.
Hello, I'm Dr. Bernie Furshpan here at HMTV at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center here on Long Island. I'm your host of Ordinary Heroes. I have a very special guest today who's become a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Peter Klein.
Hi, Bernie.
Peter, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
You are a hero to many people.
Well,
you are.
It's nice of you to say.
You manage a fund, a foundation, right? And that's the Claire Freedlander Family Foundation. How long have you been involved with that organization?
Since its inception, although I'm not a family member of Claire, I was her financial advisor for many years. And when she passed, the estate attorneys had explained to me that she had asked me, or chose me, to be her sort of legacy agent and to start this foundation in her honor, which we've done. And the board is, since 2009, has given away upwards of $10 million through local, mostly local, some in Israel, nonprofits over that period of time.
Did you know that you were going to be the legacy representative until not before she passed?
So Claire was getting up there in age, and she came to me and said, "I need your help. You made me, you've made me this money. You grew it nicely. Thank you. But now I got to give it away." She was alone. She was a Holocaust survivor.
Right.
She was hidden in Poland by a Catholic family. And as you know, as anyone who knows this body of work, the Holocaust, if you did that and they found out, oftentimes neighbors would tell Nazis about that. They killed the whole family, not just the Jewish people, everybody. And so they put their family and their lives on the line for Claire and her mom and her dad. They didn't know who they were.
She kind of felt indebted to people who stood up.
That's right. That was a big deal, and that's how the Upstander Award. We'll get to that. Came about. So so Claire came to me and said, "I need your help to give this money away that you so dutifully grew for me over the years of being my advisor." I'm like, "Great, Claire. I'm happy to help you with an estate attorney introduction, and we could figure out your whole estate plan." And she's like, oh, no, I have that stuff covered. I need you," she said to me, "to make introductions to various different nonprofits that I'm interested in." Mm-hmm. And so I would do the research. She had an eclectic spectrum of interests, from dentistry. He was not a dentist. Interested in dentistry, to wildlife, animals, Italian culture, languages.
Wide variety of interests.
Ballet. And so my job for that year or two was to sort of find various nonprofits in her area of interest, make a lunch meeting, and then she'd say, "Sit in on this meeting. I want you to sit in." Little did I realize, Bernie, but she was grooming me to be her legacy agent.
Wow. Okay.
And I understood what makes her tick, or what her interests were. So I guess from that perspective, I was a very good candidate for this legacy agent role.
She had some foresight, and obviously she knew you would do the right thing.
And I think she's looking down and smiling and with a big thumbs up, because we've punched above our weight. We're a small foundation.
Right, but you've done some great things, and in particular here at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center.
One of our favorites.
There was an investment. It was an investment of about $1 million for a Tolerance Educational Center. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was an important initiative, one of our first in 2008-09, when Claire had just passed away. Prior to her passing, interestingly enough, she actually was going to come out here for a visit. I had told her about the center, and she was interested in seeing it, but she wasn't able to get it out here. It didn't work out, and she passed. But before she did pass, she actually made a donation to this personally, before the foundation was even in existence.
Right.
So clearly, when she did pass and the foundation was established, this was one of our first initiatives. We were like, this is something that clearly resonated with Claire, and let's do something special here. So we're working with the team here at the time, Howard Mayer, a good friend, David Rosen, a good friend, Ron Brunel, others that were here at the time, and we all, still here, we all put our heads together and figured out this initiative, the Institute for Tolerance Training, which is part of our mission here, as you well know, at HMTC, to sort of not only memorialize the lessons of the Holocaust, but to teach the lessons of tolerance as well. And Claire understood that because she was saved by folks who stood up to injustice with all the risks on them and nothing to gain.
Well, she's not around anymore, but she touched a lot of lives.
I'd like to think
I
so.
would say, well, we see maybe 30,000 students coming through the doors here every year. So if you multiply that by those many years, even if it was like an average of 20,000 a year.
Right. That's right.
That's a lot of lives. That's in the hundreds of thousands of lives that she's touched because of her, goodwill.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. And a few years back, now it's almost 15 years back now, we started something called the Upstander Award, where we wanted to develop an actual program, an initiative, the Holocaust Center's Upstander Award program, whereby we provide a cash grant to young people who demonstrate upstander behavior. We have a whole team of experts who read through the committees, lots of beautiful essays, hundreds of them from Long Islanders. And these are high school kids
Right.
who stand up to injustice and bullyingism. And so you're in the lunchroom. You're in high school. It's the social petri dish. And yet you see someone over there being picked on or bullied because they're different or because of whatever, maybe they're handicapped or whatever.
Right.
And you get out of your, table of folks and kids, and you go over to that table and say, don't do that.
Right. They certainly got out of their comfort zone.
It's not easy to do.
And I've read stories where some of these kids would ask their friends to join them to walk away with the victim. The kid that was victimized, the kid that was bullied. That's probably one of the best things you can do, is to make a victim not feel alone and humiliated. I think that's one of the worst things.
And we want to celebrate those young people who do that.
And we do.
And we do.
And by the way, two young ladies who received the Upstander Awards this year are running their own podcast series.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And it's called the Upstander Responsibility.
Oh, I did know that. Yes, that's interesting. Oh, okay. That's good stuff.
So look, I mean, this is all because of Claire, right? And her vision. And you're facilitating it. So we're
trying to do good stuff.
You're a partner in this whole thing, and you have to have the same kind of heart and vision and generosity.
Right. That's right. And we have to do it in a mindful way. And this is why we're always so indebted to folks like you and the leadership here at HMTC to help guide us with different initiatives and different ideas that might really move the proverbial needle.
I like that. That's a good description. I like the proverbial needle. Everybody's got a proverbial needle somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a couple of questions I have for you. Okay, so now your belief statement says that you see grants as investments, not donations. How does the investor mindset change the way you underwrite nonprofits? If you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, sure. So the board of the Claire Freedlander Family Foundation is essentially my wife and children, myself. So it's a small family-run organization. And we put effort into looking at these various grant requests. And we don't take requests, but often over the years we've gotten them. And we look at our various nonprofit partners. And we say, what are they doing? How can we help them continue to, again, move that proverbial needle, and how to make their impact better seen and known? And so when we sit around our table at the house and we talk about these various grants and these various nonprofit partners, we ask those questions and we'll say, what's happening here? What's this organization? What's that organization doing? And we treat them less like just here's some money, rather than let's talk about what you're doing and how we can help you. And maybe that help is not necessarily tied to a grant. Maybe that help is more, advice, counsel, introducing other folks to them, and then maybe a grant will come. Who knows? But it's partnering with them, not just writing a check.
Right. Well, that's great. I think that's the way things are done these days. I think people investigate more. There's more information out there.
Collaboration.
And you can vet the people that run the organization to see where their focus is and their mission statement and all of that. And that all comes together to give you a sense of they're going in the right direction, in the direction that we want to reinforce a direction towards tolerance and,
That's right.
and justice. And
oftentimes you have, two smaller nonprofits doing very similar kind of work.
Right.
And you say, hey, listen, if you guys combined, there'd be no loss of people power. You guys could have 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
And maybe we help that. Maybe we help begin that process. So we're out there. We're pulling the strings. We're trying to help move things forward. And the philanthropic marketplace here in the Long Island tri-state area is robust. So there's plenty of work for us to do. And we're very proud of the work that we've done.
It sounds like you have a synergy with Humanity Matters. You deal with matters of humanity. What sectors in society do you deal with?
Well, obviously, Holocaust remembrance and tolerance
Right.
is one of our linchpins, and HMTC is our biggest partner in that initiative, in that vertical. We've done a fair amount of work in medical and healthcare science, right? So Cold Spring Harbor Labs, Huntington Hospital, they're partners of ours in that initiative. Pink Aid has also been a good partner of ours. So we try to find good organizations to help, again, move the needle forward. And then other types of things we do, arts and arts education.
Very good.
At the Tillis Center and various other, the Ballet Center, Ballet Theater of Huntington, various different organizations that help kids who may not have the access to arts, get art education. So various different nonprofit verticals. We do things with animals and wildlife. We do things with the environment. In the environment, we've been working on a very interesting project on indoor air quality and climate awareness, and for kids. So, you teach a kid something, they not only will teach their parents, but then they'll teach their kids. So it becomes a multiplier impact.
Very good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so you got into a lot of different areas.
Yeah, a lot of this came out of the book. After I was chosen by.
But let me just quickly interrupt just for a second. Did Claire have interest in the environment?
Yeah, she did.
So these are things that she was interested in.
Yeah.
That's how she groomed you.
Of course.
I understand.
By making all those meetings in New York.
Right, so that you understood what was important to her.
She was a clever lady.
Yeah.
She good. Yeah. It worked. Listen, it's a wonderful privilege to be in this seat. It's a weighted responsibility. I mean, I've got a limited time, and
you have other clientele, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a busy practice, thankfully. So, but you know what? It's been great for the family, my kids, my wife, and I.
It's meaningful to all of you.
It's meaningful, and we take it seriously.
Right. What was the most satisfying thing you've done with this particular project?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, of course, the Upstander Award has been one of our favorites. Now Kelly and Courtney, my daughters, are running the program with the folks at HMTC. So it's wonderful for us to see, Irene and I, to see the proverbial mantle being passed.
So you can step back a little bit.
Yeah, we're still very much involved, of course, but it's nice to give them a platform to be able to do this, and we welcome that.
That's
Our
good.
son Jack in New York, he's an advisor to the foundation, and he's involved in he's in the insurance industry in the city, and he's involved in the Widows and Orphans Fire Department and Police Department fund, and it's called Answer the Call, and he's been involved there and is getting more involved in that nonprofit. So teaching our kids the philanthropic landscape and the importance of giving back, these are ties that bind. This is, our family mantra, if you will. We try to do good things. We're fortunate to have a venue to which to do that.
That's wonderful. You're also involved with a program here at the center. We call it the Legacy Project.
The Legacy Projects are one of our newer projects.
Let's elaborate on that.
There's a committee involved. You're on the committee, of course. And the idea there is to speak with financial advisors, estate planning, attorneys, accountants, whose clients might have interest in providing a legacy when they're no longer around to HMTC. They could do that in various different ways. They could, stipulate a fund to be established upon their passing. They could do it before they pass. So there's various different things, but it's something that's important to the long-term viability and growth of HMTC.
What do you think is the future of philanthropy here on Long Island, New York State, and the U.S. At large?
The new OBBB was passed, a new big, beautiful bill, and there was a part of that did reduce slightly the tax benefits to philanthropy, to folks donating. I don't think it's going to make a difference. If you go back in history, United States is far, far ahead of any country.
In terms of philanthropy.
In terms of giving, yeah. We are by far...
We're the most generous.
Obviously. By a factor of 3.
Oh, I'm sure. Because we help so many different countries.
Well, it's interesting. It comes down to our independence streak. Back 250 years ago, we didn't want to be tied to the state, if you will, or the government. So it was, the Americans were always like, we'll handle it ourselves. Well, that's how philanthropy sort of gets started in a way. We'll take care of you, neighbor. We'll take care of you, project, hospital, etc. And it's just it's wonderful to see that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the future of philanthropy, let's say,
I think it's robust. I think we're still in a very good spot now.
How about Long Island? Do you think Long Island is
it's good,
still
but it's challenges.
In a good shape?
The challenge, of course, is inflation, costs, labor.
Right.
These are challenges, and that's why sometimes when we're speaking to various to nonprofits, we often will say to them, "Listen, you have to sort of figure out your space." You can't be everything to everybody because it's going to be too costly. You don't have the money for that. And, we'll help you, but we can only help to a certain degree.
Right.
And so we try to counsel some of these nonprofits to act more efficiently.
Right. It's one thing to give somebody fish, but it's another thing, as they say, to show them how to fish.
Well done.
So here we have somebody, let's say, who's in their 80s and 90s, and they're thinking about what they're going to, where they're going to leave their money. They're going to give it to their kids, all of it to their kids, or they're going to split it up and donate, through
or taxes, worse yet.
Right, through generous donations to certain organizations, things that they had some pet projects with. How do you counsel people like that? I mean, in what direction? How do you obviously you can't tell them what to do.
Sure.
But you tell them about opportunities and options and things that they should consider, the considerations. What are they?
So I'll take off my president of the Freedlander Foundation hat and put on the chief investment officer of the Aligned Wealth hat.
There you go.
And when I'm speaking with clients who come to our conference table and they sit with us and they ask, all right, I've made my wealth. Now I want to sort of maintain it, and I want to make sure my kids have the opportunity to stay involved in the things that I'm interested in. I tell them, listen, get the kids around the table. Talk to them. What are their interests?
Right.
Open up a donor advised fund. Open up a family foundation, a trust, a charitable trust, and then put some of your capital before you die into these different investments or upon your death, but often it's better before. And you talk to the accountants and there's tax benefits associated with that. But the key thing is communication with the family. And oftentimes it's 3 generations. It's the patriarch, matriarch. It's the second gen, the kids. And then you got the grandkids. And those grandkids may have a different thinking about what they want to do philanthropically. So they have to come together and figure out the commonalities of their interests.
Very good. Very good.
Like a family mission statement, I say.
Yeah. That's really great.
And we believe that this essence of philanthropy in a family of wealth will allow for the wealth to build and the family to stay connected for a longer period of time.
Right. And they have a common mission too. So
well, let's go back in history. Look at the Rockefellers. They're still very prominent, still very philanthropic. And let's say, another family of that same ilk, which may not have given as much, they sort of fly, they go away.
Right.
When you have philanthropy, your family is more intertwined.
By the way, my parents used the Rockefellers a lot. Like if I would leave the light on in my room.
What are you, a Rockefeller?
Everybody used that, right?
Yeah, it was
what do you
common.
think? We're Rockefeller? Right, but they were philanthropic, so maybe they could have donated towards our electric bill if they were that kind,
Maybe.
So what keeps you up at night? What bothers you? What worries you?
What worries me is the state of the world, these wars that are out there. It's terrible. The anti-Semitism that's out there, it's awful. That worries me very much. Domestically, I'm concerned about just sort of putting my investment hat on for a second. I'm concerned about inflation being stickier and here longer, and what implications that might have for interest rates and for markets.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm pretty positive and pretty optimistic because we are Americans. And Americans can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, whatever we need to do, we can do.
We bounce back.
We always have.
We always have. We bounce back. We come together. We fix, but we unite. You know, we go through cycles.
Yes. You don't have to be afraid of the cycle because it's going to come back the other side and we're going to be better for it.
Yeah, eventually. I see. I've lived long enough to see cycles, you know, repeat.
Right.
And so I know that we're heading in after this. I think it's going to be in a positive direction. I believe. Hopefully sooner than later.
Right.
Let's put it that way. We want less damage done before.
Yes. And less wars. Let's stop wars.
Less wars. Let's stop that altogether. You know.
I'm very optimistic about the state of affairs as it relates to scientific and healthcare research.
Absolutely.
This precision medicine is brilliant. You've heard of this. Where they take some of your DNA, they map it out. They can do that so easily now. And then they figure out medicines using AI that best work for your particular genome.
Right. So AI is pretty incredible as long as it doesn't get into the wrong hands.
Agreed.
You know, it can do a lot for humanity for sure.
But we have to sort of watch it.
We have to watch it. We got to build some, you know, guardrails around it, and just move it forward. But there's some parts of this world that are still trying to claw us back into the Stone Age, you know? and into wars and things like that, which is so. Like, come on, can we move past these things?
Yeah, we have to.
You know, we are so advanced, so civilized, so intelligent. And yet we still have old attitudes. I call it hardening of the attitudes. We still have some old attitudes that we just can't seem to escape. But hopefully there's a better future. And what you're doing keeps pushing us, you know, inches us forward, moves that big wheel forward a little bit.
Well,
we're all trying, right? We're all doing it collectively from different angles. And I think, I always believe that good always wins over evil.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Because evil usually crashes and burns eventually.
That's true. That's what the history has shown.
It keeps repeating that same cycle. And then we forget because history does repeat itself.
Right.
Because people forget and they do the same things over. They make the same mistakes. And then, of course, we learn from it. And hopefully we have peacetime for a long time.
Yes,
you know, especially for our kids and grandkids.
And these young people, these kids and grandkids. We see it through the Upstander Award and other similar programs we're involved in. They're brilliant. They're good kids, and they don't have the same issues as perhaps generations ago had.
So true.
And I think they're more inclusive in most cases, which is good, and they have less hate. And I think we need to get rid of hate. That's just
altogether.
Yeah. That's what we're all about here at HMTC.
Maybe there'll be some kind of cure for hate. Because to me, it's like an illness.
Yeah, I agree.
Peter Klein, I want to thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Bernie.
For joining. It goes quick, doesn't it?
It does. It's so great to spend some time with you. And thank you for all your leadership.
Thank you.
Here at HMTC and around Long Island.
I appreciate that very much. And I'm grateful for our audience
for
listening in, for chiming into this very important conversation, this meaningful conversation about philanthropy with Mr. Peter Klein. I'm your host, Bernie Furshpan. Until next time.